Okay, welcome back to Last Stop Recovery. My name is Jay. My clean date is August 15th, 2017.
And I'm Chelsea. My clean day is February 13th, 2019.
How are you today, Chelsea?
I am good and tired.
I'm very tired. I'm
Yeah.
like borderline delusional right now.
This is probably the first time that I have had more sleep than you ever.
Yeah, in a long time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot. Like, you started your new job. I think that this feels like the best transition you've had into a new job.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of factors as to why that
Yeah.
is.
I think probably one of the biggest factors is, realizing that I was taking myself into these jobs and that every job I've had, like, there's been a common denominator in every job, and it's been me. Like, I've shared this with my sponsor, but, like, uh, you know, I have. There's like a part in the book where it talks about we're having trouble making a living,
Mhm.
and it's like I, in sobriety and in addiction, I have yet to hold down a job for longer than like a year. So, and last year I got fired from two, and that was also a thing that I had never done, as I had never been fired from a job.
Yeah.
Mostly because I knew if I fucked up, and I was like, I better quit before they have a chance to fire me. So
And I think that that's a common trait for like all addicts, not just with jobs,
yeah,
but like because I do that in relationships.
yeah.
I'm like, smells like you're getting uninterested, and so I will just cut things off.
Oh, just back away. Yeah,
So, yeah, I've done that. Well, yeah, just relationships.
yeah.
I do not want to be left. Like
Yeah.
that's there's like a real big and obviously fired either.
Well, and it's funny too, because like that's how I've done relationships also, until Wendy and I got together, and like I've tried, but she's like, no, we're staying together. And I'm like, and honestly, it's like I tried a couple times, and it was for stupid reasons, and it's like, it was. I was stressed out in my own head, and I was like, you know what? I can do better. I can do better off on my own, and all this other shit. And it was like, no.
The evidence shows otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the other thing that I realize is like, I know we've talked a lot about you and your previous relationship, but it's like, I realize that I've been pretty selfish and self-centered in my own. And like the big thing that happened, like job's going good. I really enjoy my job. Like this is for like the first time in a long time. I enjoy the job, and I think it's because I I tell myself in the morning before I head to my job, like, like I do that, like you're supposed to pray and like pray for guidance throughout the day.
Yes.
And like now I'm actually like really and truly doing that, like actually taking a moment and praying,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm hoping meditation will come with that soon. But like, um, yeah, I've enjoyed my job, but it doesn't mean that the rest of life has been like fixed also,
Mm-hmm.
because like a string of events led to me having to kind of come in a couple hours late yesterday because my water was turned off,
At the house.
at the house. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, like they'll shut that off, right? Like the bastards, right after your very first final notice. It's bullshit. But um, that's and I was thinking about it too. It's like, man, that never happened to me when I was drinking. It's like I didn't have a house either, so like they didn't have anything to shut off.
They weren't going to shut off your parents' water.
No,
They
no.
paid their bills.
They paid the bill. Yeah. So it was a very humbling moment,
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard to not go into because you got to go to the fucking office.
Yeah, you gotta go down
You
there.
gotta go down there. You can't fucking tuck your tail between your legs and just make the call. You gotta fucking show them your face. They're like, we want to see you, fucking loser. You fucking deadbeat asshole. So, you know, they want to make eye contact with you because they're like, yeah, you haven't bathed today. Yeah, we know. We shut your water off.
Well, I think it's like a parent when you're naughty. Like, announce it to the class. This man right here doesn't pay his bills.
Oh, are you coming in because you want your water? Are you thirsty?
You want to take a shower? When I saw your video, I was like, oh, God. People don't know this about Jay, or I've probably mentioned it. Homeboy takes a lot of showers.
You know what? I shower at night before I go to bed, and then in the morning I have a routine, and that involves expelling waste. And I don't like to smell like that, so I just kind of do a rinse of the smelly areas. So basically, I shower twice a day. Yeah. Well, like, I can't
You
walk.
just made that so much weirder to explain.
So-
you take a morning shower after your shit?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so
you could just say.
Yeah, I wash my ass after I shit.
I only go into that. You made it sound like a fucking lady of the nights, like sponging between customers.
You know what? I feel like that. Like, I used to do that, like, wash my face off in the mornings. And then it's like, why don't I just shower?
Oh, I was like, you were a lady at night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to be a lady at night. But just at night, though.
I mean, I've heard it's a thing.
Right. But yes, yeah, I basically shower twice a day. Not every day.
It's not basically. You get in the shower.
I shower twice a day.
You turn on the water. You use soap.
That's the whole thing down. Yep, I do.
That there's called a
I am not afraid to admit it. I shower twice a day. I do not.
Took you a second to admit it.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I was afraid, and now I'm not. Okay, fuck. So yeah, that was really hard. It was like,
it's not bad that you like to shower. It'd be weirder if I was saying on the podcast, like, Jay takes one shower a week. Like,
please donate.
Help!
Please, like and subscribe. This shed stinks.
It's awful in here.
Yeah.
No, like, we already have the chickens outside.
Right. Yeah. No. I try to be very clean. I like to be clean. So yeah, I shower twice a day, but you know what?
That's not weird at all. There a lot of days I shower twice a day. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I need to shower. Sometimes this weird thing I've been doing lately, I go to bed really, really late.
Uh-huh.
My phone is usually close to my body wherever I fall asleep. It's too close. Now I have to move it because I've been snoozing my alarm. And then, like, there was Thursday, Kai came into my room. Like, Wednesday, Bubba was up the entire night. Did not sleep a wink. So, wasn't late that day, obviously, because we were up all night. But Thursday, Kai walked into my room. It was like, she's got to be at school at 8:20. It was 8:07.
Nice.
And she was like, Mom, because Bubba's sleeping in my bed. She's like, Mom, it's okay if I don't go to school today. Like, I didn't even know where I was when those words were coming out of her mouth. And I was like, what?
What are you talking about?
And then she was like, Mom, it's 8:07. And then, like, that's when it, like, clicked. And I was like, oh, my God. So, Bubba, he's one of those kids. He has to take a shower in the morning. He has to.
Yeah.
We have tried not to. I have tried not to many times. Kai doesn't have to. She does better when she does. But, like, she had showered, gotten ready.
Wow.
Had breakfast.
Just.
Yeah. And I was like, this is like a Boss Baby episode. Just
looking like straight up Matilda.
Yeah, and she was like, yeah, but also, like, it's okay if you need rest. And I'm like, Kai, you're going to school. Like, we're going to be late.
Damn it.
She was. She went and sat on the couch. She's like,
shit.
I shouldn't even have woke her
Why
up.
why
Why am I such a good kid?
God.
I heard her in her room the other day. I thanked her for something. I was like, and I said, like, under my breath, or I was talking to probably Amanda. I was like, she's such a good kid. And Kai, like, ratted herself out and walked in her room, and she's like, why am I such a good kid?
God. Because she just is. She's a good kid.
I know. Chatted. Everyone, really. Like, everyone that meets Kai tells me that. Like,
Yeah.
God, your daughter is, like, so polite and sweet and just...
She's just the nicest person. Like, every time she comes over, I'm like, how is she so nice? It's just she's so pleasant
How
to
is
be
she
around.
so nice that she came for you?
No. Yeah, I think you're nice, but, you know.
I am very nice. And if I love you, I will give you anything you want.
Yep.
There's a switch inside of me, though. It doesn't... No one flicks it very often.
Yeah.
If you're the poor, sad soul that does, I can be not nice.
Yeah.
I have a lot of experience in it.
I have been...
But I don't like paying lawyers. And, you know, catching charges. You get to a certain age and that's inconvenient and uncool.
I know.
And expensive.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if punching anyone in the face is worth $10,000 of my money.
It's not.
No matter how good it would feel.
It's not. It's not. Yeah, there's been a lot of things that I've really been trying to change going into this new year. It's like, you know, being nicer to people, even if they bug or even if they annoy me or whatever. Because it's like, it's such an arrogant thing to be just mean to somebody just because I'm mildly annoyed by them. Like, man, it takes out of my day, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do...
Because you get bothered.
Yeah, because I get bothered.
Yeah.
And it's like that.
And all they're trying to do is talk and say hi.
They're just being themselves, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just like, you being you is annoying to me. And now I'm going to make that your problem. And it's like, that is such a selfish, shitty thing. And it's like, you know, like, I feel like I've gotten a lot of pats on the back this week for some things that I've been doing. Like, Wendy came home and she was like, I like this version of Jay. the one that went to work even though he was sad after going and paying the water bill, but went to work because he knew he needed to go to work. The Jay that got up at 2 this morning to cover for a guy's shift because he knew he needed to. It's like, yeah, you know.
Today was the first time that you asked me what has been going on and you listened for like 40 minutes straight. You've never done that. There's multiple times I paused because I was waiting for you to start talking. And I was like, oh, we're just doing me today. Okay.
Yeah.
Chelsea doesn't like talking about Chelsea for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, you know, I went to a men's meeting last night that I used to go to a lot, and then I kind of stopped going to because it's like one of my things where it's like I feel like I get enough time doing something, and I'm like, I deserve a break from this. And it's like, I think it's been almost 2 years since I've gone back to that meeting.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, Friday nights are pretty easy to get over there at 7:30. You know.
Yeah, the later meetings are always easier.
Yeah.
7 is like a really good time because you can get out of, but it's like 5 is hard.
Because it's like, what? But I'm like,
and getting anywhere in this town at 5.
Oh, this is a nightmare. But it's like, I get so like, oh, but I'm going to be tired. And, you know, like, I wouldn't mind going to bed. And, like, it's like, dude, sacrifice a little sleep, you know? It's going to be okay.
Yeah, cause comparatively, what you have now.
Yeah.
And, like, what you had when you came in.
Yeah. They're vastly different.
Because, like, you're just going to spend that hour scrolling.
Yeah.
Doom scrolling.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, Yeah, I just need to do the things that I know I need to do.
Yeah.
Like the biggest, like one of the other things is like I fired the people that pick up dog shit in my backyard,
Mm-hmm.
which was a hard thing to do. It's like, one, I couldn't afford them, and two, it's like they're my dogs. I should be picking up their shit. And I was like, so every Sunday.
Oh, you have never picked up their poop?
No, I have, but it's
Oh.
like I did like a shitty job of it before, and then I was like, I'm just gonna pay somebody because I figured I was owed that. It's like, no, I just need to go out there and pick up my dog shit.
Yeah.
So every Sunday I go pick up dog shit, even if I'm tired.
Picking up your own dog shit is like birth control for dogs. Because you have 4. I don't think
Yeah.
you should. That's a lot of shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's, enough shit gets piled up, and then they run and step in it, and then it gets tracked in the house, and then you're cleaning shit. And it's like,
Yeah, it was like going from 3 dogs to 1 dog was so different because
Yeah.
there's so much maintenance between
Yeah.
each breed. And then, like, now Chewy's just Chewy.
yeah,
And, like, I thought he would have a hard time going from house life to apartment life. He's very well adjusted.
yeah.
He really likes being in an apartment.
Dogs are super. They're super accommodating, man. They'll get along with anything,
Yeah, I brought him here for a play date. I've been bringing him to my brother's to play with my brother's dog for a play date. Because, like, when I had Layla, like, one of the nicest things about her was I took her everywhere, whether she was allowed or not.
Yeah.
And it made me feel better, and it made me feel safer, and I guess I used it as, like, a therapy dog before it was, like, a fad.
Yeah.
Before you could do that.
But no, I have started talking to my sponsor a little bit more lately, and I think there's a lot of things that, I don't know if I didn't hear people talking about it, or maybe I didn't pay attention because maybe I never thought I'd get this far in sobriety, but there's a lot of things that happen in later, like, there's that point my sponsor made, like, hey, you don't really see a lot of people in the rooms between 5 and 10 years. You see a lot of 5, and you see, like, a lot after 10, but he's like, there's that little area right there. And he's like, and you're in that area. It's hard. It's a hard place to be. It really is. There's significant changes that have happened in the last 7 years, and it's just, there have been some big differences.
Yeah. So I can't even remember the last time that a problem happened in my life and my brain thought of alcohol.
Yeah.
At any point during the solution. Usually I get all the way through the problem and then I realize, hey, I made it through another problem without, like, wanting to take shots.
You know what?
And sometimes it takes like a whole day, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I still don't even want to
I
drink.
didn't even want to drink. Yeah. My the guy I was working with this week, he kind of, he likes to drink,
Mm-hmm.
and he was kind of talking about it and all this other stuff. He's like, I was like, oh yeah, I don't, I don't drink.
Yeah.
And there was, like, I remember in like some of my first meetings, people bringing that up, like, oh, people tempt you to drink, just pull back. And it's like, that hasn't even happened to me. Yeah, I was at lunch with my mom today. She was like, oh, did you hear Ron White is sober now? And I was like, yeah, I'd heard about that.
Who's
And
Ron White?
he's like a comedian. He was on, like, the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, like, with Jeff Foxworthy, and
I know Jeff Foxworthy.
yeah, he's kind of anyway,
Go on.
you can look him up.
I will.
But no, he's, I guess, during the pandemic, he, like, even before, like, when he'd be on stage, he'd drink this really, really expensive scotch. And he was always, he was very into, the,
Scotch.
yeah, drinking on stage and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he had just this cool demeanor about him. And it was like, man, I remember watching him and going, I wish I could be that guy. But I never liked scotch, and I never was able to afford the scotch that doesn't taste like gasoline. So, like, I just never drank it,
Yeah.
you know. So I drank horrible stuff. But I guess he was talking about like during the pandemic. He's like, yeah, the bottle used to be in the closet, and then all of a sudden it's by the couch. He's like, and it's just, it got horrible. And like I told my mom, I was like, I am so glad that I was not drinking during the pandemic, or into it, or during, or whatever.
Yeah, I was 1 year sober when
Yeah.
the world shut down.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the beauty of like, I had never been through a pandemic and like no one knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this our life now? We just stay home? Because like after the first month, I was like, yeah, so maybe this is...
Are we doing this forever?
This is a very new normal. So, yeah, but like, I went to the Zoom meeting. No, I didn't know about the Zoom meetings for like a while. So I went from like 3 meetings a day for a year to the world being like cut off.
Yeah, there has definitely been like 2.
But if I'd been drinking, I know for a fact I would have drank myself to death. The kids didn't have to go to school. Like, just sitting at home.
Yeah.
Oh, I just would have drank. I was close to it without a pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So with the pandemic, oh my God, I can't.
We're all gonna die anyway.
Every day would have been that.
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna die. And, yeah.
No, my God, sober. Yeah. Yeah, I am grateful for that. But yeah, that was another turning point in my sobriety was I had kind of just stopped going to meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very close to a relapse then. It was getting very close. And it was like, I am fucking miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And finally I had to call somebody and was like, they were like, yeah, why don't you come to this meeting? It was kind of like a speakeasy meeting. They were doing it like just
It's
undercover.
weird when you get to that point.
Yeah.
That like usually when you're dry as alcoholics, we're so good at lying to ourselves that you're like, I'm not dry.
I'm fine.
I'm fucking fine. No
Yeah.
one else feels like you're fine. But to you feel fine. And then it's the moment you sit down in the meeting and spend 5 minutes and then you'll be like, I'm dry as fuck. Like, oh.
I'm so not fine.
Yeah. It does not take any time for you to be like, okay, well, yeah, I need to be here.
Yeah. And at this point, in my recovery, it's like I was going to meetings,
Mm-hmm.
but I hadn't been going to like a lot.
I don't feel like you've been invested in anything except for like your feelings.
Yeah, just
which have been bad.
Yeah, and they've just been awful. And it's like,
because I've said it before. I'm like, I don't know how to get you out of this funk. Because like, you were in a funk, and then like you got out of the funk, and then the next one was a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're not used to seeing me in a funk. Because typically I too can get myself out, but I am also navigating new territory.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been so much that I'm trying to heal from. And as an addict, I'm trying to heal everything all at once.
Yeah.
And I need 25 years of pain to evaporate so I can just
Tomorrow.
be fucking happy. Because everyone just talks about being fucking happy. And
Yeah.
like, I want that too. And like, that's the thing is, like, my happiness is within my own scope. And like, I didn't really realize that up until like my surgery with my arm.
Yeah.
That what I choose to see as happy and like who I'm comparing myself to, which I shouldn't be comparing myself to anybody, but like what versions of me today are happier than previous versions of me. There's a lot of dark versions of me. There have been many, many dark chapters in my little book. So most days, even if everything goes wrong, it is better than thousands of days I have lived.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am probably, I know I've been poorer than I am now, or not financially stable. But, like, money, I always freak out about money.
Me too.
And it's just really uncomfortable right now for me. So I made the choice to go back to nursing school, which I'm very nervous about. But at the same time,
well, I feel like if anybody could do it, it's going to be you, you know.
Everyone said really nice things about me being a nurse. I find comfort being in the hospital. I've had 20 plus surgeries.
Yeah, I mean,
and
you know your way around.
I feel like for me, it's so easy to connect with a patient because I've been there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what body parts do you want to talk about? Because I've probably had surgery on it.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's like the way my sister is. She has no problem talking about that.
So, and like nothing grosses me out.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's so weird when people are grossed out by blood and really anything. I'm like, no one wants to touch someone else's poop, but like, or pee. But at the same time, if you're at a hospital,
you're going to be touching that.
Well, hopefully not, but like, it definitely it's a possibility.
Yeah.
When I have kids, every day, they're 11 and 13, there's still days I've touched poop. I'm not happy about it, but it's part of being a parent.
You know, that is one thing probably that you can bet about most people you see is that at some point today they have all dealt with shit. And one way or another, you know.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I caught myself like 2 or 3 days ago. You know when you complain inside of your head?
Yes.
So, I turned it around because I'm trying to do this psychology thing for myself that I was like complaining about something and I stopped myself like halfway through and changed the sentence to I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And I was like in a way better mood. Like it was such a simple little.
I know.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, what am I getting mad about? Why am I whining inside of my own head? No one can hear you.
Yeah.
Except me.
Yeah, you know, like, it's...
So it made me think about, I'm like, how much time do I spend doing that? And then by the time the event happens, I've whined about it inside of my own skull for 3 days.
Yeah.
And so then I'm just like, ugh! Like, I just make this big... And I'm like, because you've thought about it 72 times. And a normal person just lets things happen.
They just let it roll off.
But my brain's like, we gotta pre-plan for things we might feel. Or might not feel. Like...
Yeah, what was it, Thursday, when, Thursday I was going down to meet my coworker so that we could drive back up to Durango.
Mm-hmm.
And he had driven there and back the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to fucking drive. You know, I want to drive today. And, like, I got there before him, and I started driving.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell that he was uncomfortable. Like, I'm not a bad driver. I don't think he was uncomfortable with how I was driving or anything like that. But it felt like, I think this is a dude that drives. You know, he wants to drive.
I am the driver. I have a control thing.
Yeah, he wants to be in control. And it's like, that has been one of my things is giving up control, especially when it comes to like driving, because I have made a big stink out of that. Mm-hmm. So we stopped and grabbed a coffee or whatever, and I was like, why don't you drive? And it was just like in my head, I was like, why don't I just let this dude drive?
Because he's uncomfortable.
Because he's uncomfortable.
You can feel the vibe.
And I could easily alleviate
all of this
and just ride passenger. It's not a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, these are the things that I've like actually been praying for. Like I asked God to help me walk a little bit more. So now I have this job at the airport. Walk all the fucking time at the airport. I asked, you know, help guide me and help me be a better person to the people around me. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like, yeah. You know, the other day I got in and it was, you know, Wendy had called, and I had thought about it on the way back after Wendy called me and told me the water was off, and it was like, she was starting to cry. I was like, there's nothing to cry about, and there's no reason to get mad. There's nobody to get mad at. It's like we go tomorrow and get it turned back on. Just that's what we do. And then we kind of had a little fight.
Yeah,
when
well, I was gonna say probably because you said that.
Yeah.
Because you shut down her feelings.
Well, and then we got in.
Yeah.
And I got in, and it was like I was a jerk. I was frustrated because we had a tough day up there, and it was like, you know what? I don't need to be a jerk about this. She was wanting me to help her with these maps because she's doing this pit count, which is an incredible thing. I helped her with it last year. The point in time count. They go walk the streets of Albuquerque and ask people that are unhoused like where they were on a certain night. And they're doing it now. It is not warm, and it's colder than it was last year when we did it. So, she's doing this thing, and then here I am fucking grumping at her, and it's like, there's no reason for any of this shit. So, yeah, that was another one, like, hear her out, and it's like, I don't have to interject me into everything.
I think you do this thing, somebody I love that loves me also does it, that if I'm not a whiner typically, like in general, I'll like whine about something and then make a joke, but like as a personality type, I'm a solver, not a whiner.
Yeah.
I'm action.
Yeah.
So, but when I do whine, and as I have throughout my life, hearing me whine makes them feel a certain way because they don't like me being uncomfortable, so they have always cut me off.
Yeah.
And I think you do it because if Wendy gets upset, you don't want her to be hurt, but the way that you try to solve it is probably the worst way you could.
Yeah. Just
don't have feelings.
Just stop right there. Yeah.
And that's what I mean, because like that's very similar to how I grew up, because like my best friend is beautifully emotional. So, like, when she's feeling something, easily lets out tears.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I don't know what happened to me that I think tears are illegal, but, like, she has to talk me into them.
Yeah.
And she's like, please just let them out. Just, sweetie. And then the nicer she is, and she's like, fucking cry, bitch. And then I'm like, ah! So the nice doesn't work with me, which, as a parent, makes sense for my own kids, because I'm raising villains. Just kidding. So,
yeah.
I think that internally, you don't want her to be upset, but what comes out of your mouth is you tell her not to have feelings.
Yeah, I definitely have that thought process. It goes on in here, but then what comes out, that's
the delivery.
It's like, oof, it's off. It's awful.
So there's somebody that taught me like the verbiage of, I mean, they didn't honor my feelings in any way, but every time I had feelings, they would say like, it's okay to feel your feelings. You are allowed to feel whatever way you want. And it didn't matter what I was upset about, a big thing, a little thing. They said that line every single time. That, like, if anything stuck with me about that, it was that line. That, like, even when I'm upset all by myself, I still think about it. That, like, I am allowed to have feelings. And when someone else is talking about things that I've done, whether I agree or not, they're allowed to have their feelings. So it's just been like one of those things that no one had ever used that verbiage in my life until I met this person. And then I don't know why, that it's just like now it's like cemented in my brain. And I say it to people when they're upset. I say it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I don't think you've been so sad lately that it's almost like you're like what I do when I know I'm going to cry and I probably need to cry is I fight it and I fight it and I fight it. You've been like so sad that you're just like, but I'm not sad. But I'm not sad.
Right.
But you are sad.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm not sad.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
And
Is
it's
I'm
easier,
incredibly hurt. Yeah.
yeah. But
And
it's kind of like finally letting go of that
yeah.
control to God of like, okay, I'm fucking sad.
Yeah.
Jesus,
I'm
okay?
hurt. I'm embarrassed. I'm fucking miserable. I have done all the things to try and make myself feel better through, other than using alcohol, and it's not working. And I don't know. There's that shit in the book. The shit in the book that's like, stop being so into yourself and you know out.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't have to just help out people that are recovering addicts.
And that took me years in
Yeah.
recovery to like make that distinction. It's like help anybody that you're around.
Anybody.
Help a human, help a dog, help a turtle. Like
Yeah.
help.
Just help.
Be useful.
Yeah.
Be of service.
Yeah, that and it's like, yeah, I can let my coworker drive, and it's not even let. I can just ride passenger. The guy feels more comfortable driving. Hey, drive, dude. I'm gonna be driving up there all the fucking time. And it's like,
Yeah, there's no tug of war on
Yeah.
like
do
driving.
you want to drive now? Be my guest, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking have at it. So,
But it is weird things that we hold on to control. I switched gyms this week. It's a weird thing to stress out about. It took me 2 days to actually like go to the gym. Why? Like it's weird that even in recovery that like I have these like little speed bumps that I'm just like they
yeah.
turn into stop signs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll get to it. And I'm like, I make it so big inside of my mind, and then it will be like 5 minutes, and I'm like, I didn't think about that for 12 hours.
At all. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's just like at work, like I was asked to like fix some of this wiring on these pieces of equipment. And there was a couple times I was like, I need to hurry up. And I'm like, why? They said, we want you to spend 8 hours, 10 hours, however long it takes to make this look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't care how long it takes.
Yeah.
And it's like, then there was like little times when I'm like, well, if I just do that or I'll skip this, and I'm like, there's no reason. I have literally no reason to cut any corners, because it's like, one, if I don't cut any corners, it looks really good on me. Two, whoever's going to use this piece of equipment later today is probably going to be grateful, not even knowing it, that it's put together right. That somebody didn't half-ass it. And it's like, now these are the things that I can do. These are the little changes that I can make in my head. Just like, it may not be helping me in the moment, but it doesn't have to. Like, it doesn't have to be for me all the time. It just doesn't have
It's
to.
helping you create better habits
Yeah.
than you've had, because having the psyche or calling yourself out of like shortcuts. Why the fuck are you trying to take a shortcut at a
Yeah.
brand new job?
Yep. At all.
You're like,
What, just...
finding a new way.
Mm-hmm.
And like I didn't realize like how I'm way more grateful now for the things I have,
Yeah.
but I still get pompous and entitled and bougie,
Oh, yeah.
and like it starts with little things and then it turns into not as bad, but like definitely when I was an alcoholic I was very opinionated. I liked things my fucking way.
And you do them my fucking way.
Or you'd hear about it. And if you're friends with me, if you don't think I can be annoying, I can be one of the most annoying human beings you've ever met.
And if you don't think I'll go into such a level of fucking grump and misery...
I can't imagine you as a drunk, because you've been hard to deal with for a couple of months. That I've just been like, okay, bud.
Yeah.
I have a lot going on too. But like I also have been hard to deal with, which is like when I isolate the most. Poor Amanda has to deal with me all the time. That poor baby. But like I haven't been easy. I spent a lot of years killing myself to be easy. and making myself smaller and quieter and more watered down.
Yeah.
And then, like, all of a sudden, like, I felt like I didn't have to do that, and I just kind of, like, exploded.
Yeah.
But, like, the reality of that is I don't really know who I am. I don't really know what my hobbies are. I don't know what my future's going to be. And I'm making a lot of big decisions that are going to change.
Yeah.
Because life changes things.
You know who, like, when I hear people talk about other people, like, especially, like, celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's certain ones that are like, oh, that guy's an asshole. And some of them are, you know, they just are. But then there's some that they just talk about that are like, they're like genuinely a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, they're not putting on a show. They're not this or that. And it's like, you hear that about certain people. And it's like, you hear that about people in everyday life, you know, not just a celebrity. It's like, oh, that guy's a really nice person.
Yeah.
And it's like, I always wonder, like, do people say that kind of thing about me, or do they say, what do they say about me? Because
They're funny.
what do I think about myself? Is that projecting onto them? And it's like, do I really want to treat people the way I treat myself? And it's like, that is one of the things that I can do selfishly, is I can be nicer to me, and then it can eventually evaporate to being nicer to other people, you know.
You are very, very nice.
And you know what? I have fought that for so long. Kind of like saying, like,
You call me nice all the time.
yeah,
and I
like
want to stab you.
like struggling to say that I shower twice a day at the beginning of the episode. It's like, I am a nice guy. And
yeah,
it's like,
you can be very selfish.
I can be.
Makes me want to puke sometimes. But
you know what? Yeah, and it's,
you can still be a good person and be selfish.
I'd be very selfish.
And
yeah.
there are seasons in life that, like, who we are to our core.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be seasons we go through that sometimes there's challenges you're facing that, like, don't bring out the best characteristics of our personality. And, like, until those things are handled and you are through them, there's some traits that are just going to be there. And I know I have a really hard time with... I try not to be opinionated because I know how I am being opinionated. So I just try to just, like, stay on neutral ground.
Yeah.
Because if I argue, if I don't think I'm getting my point across, I'd go from, like, a 25 level to, like, 125. And then I'm, like, shoving, like, force feeding you my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's not really a way to live, because I hate when people do that to me. I hate when they ask me a question and I say an answer and then they try to convince me out of my own answer. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah, the thing is, you asked for my opinion and I gave it to you.
Yeah.
And, like, that's my opinion. No matter if you're the best lawyer in the whole world, like, it's still going to be my opinion. But when I was drunk, you could have convinced me, because I didn't really stand firmly on shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very malleable when I was drinking.
Yeah,
like,
and I, like, for somebody that had so many street smarts, I'm quoting myself on that, because I would say that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm an idiot in the school, like, in a school setting, which isn't even true, because I have great grades. And, like, every time I've said that on this podcast, and my mom's like, if I need to pull out report cards and show that you're not, I will.
Yeah.
So, but I would always say, like, I was street smart, and I'm like, looking back at the situations and experiences I had an active addiction, I'm like, that would point to you're an idiot.
Yeah, you
naive, sheltered.
You could tell the things in school that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I got good grades on the shit that I was like, I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. And then when I didn't want to, it was like, what? Like, I had teachers that were like, dude, you did this really well.
I liked that chapter, not this chapter.
Yeah, like, fuck this. Romans suck, you know? But the Egyptians.
Is this interesting?
And it's like now I know that information, and it's like I feel like sometimes I'm like, man, if I could go back in time and kick my ass, I would. But yeah, I don't know. I think this going into hopefully going into some of these newer videos, we can start discussing a little bit more recovery, because I've noticed that being more honest in life, and even on the TikTok, which is our TikTok, but I'm the one that
Jay does the TikTok.
I do the TikTok.
Because I do everything.
She does Instagram. That's pretty good. I've noticed that the more honest I am on TikTok, the better reactions I'm getting. Like, it used to, like, the engagement has gotten better. Like, the view count isn't as much, but, like, the engagement is better. Like, I'm getting people commenting on it.
Yeah.
And there are sober people on TikTok, you know?
Well, there's sober people
everywhere.
Everywhere. Just like there's drunks everywhere.
Very true.
And addicts.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, sobriety isn't the answer to all life's problems either, you know? And I think if we can say that, one takeaway from this episode is, like, sobriety is not going to solve all your problems, but it's going to help make those problems a little easier. Because I don't think I would have handled yesterday very well if I was still drinking.
I don't think I would have handled 99% of my problems I've had in sobriety still drinking.
Yeah, I think I would have been getting escorted out of the water authority or whatever, because they have cops there. You know, it's at City Hall, so yeah, like they're like, "Sir, you're gonna leave.
So
we're
many
gonna force
things.
you to leave."
The water authority is at City Hall.
Yeah, I know, fancy.
No, that's not what I was thinking. Fancy was not the word
No.
in my head.
Bullshit.
I
Fuckers.
was like, God, we're so fucking ghetto here. All the fucking empty buildings in this town, and like they're sharing City Hall.
They built that place for that. Like, it's got it's like its own area, but it's like, yeah, it's more than just sharing.
That's more concerning.
Yeah, there's a lot
that
going
was
on there.
a choice.
You know what's even more concerning is it all used to be where the MBD Express is over there on Southern and 528. That was way more ghetto. Like where Popeyes is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That used to be City Hall. For real.
Shut the fuck up.
I know. Yeah.
So people went there and got married?
Yeah.
With the Popeyes in the background?
No, Popeyes wasn't there.
Oh.
That would have been dope though.
I was like, there's
And
a
the
Church's
reception.
chicken and a Popeyes.
So yeah, that's the takeaway for today. And if you're struggling, hit us up.
Yeah.
Nobody has so far, so. I mean,
We're just going to keep saying it.
but, yeah. I mean.
People told us from our very first meeting, you know, to reach out. And if you hear it enough times, damn it, at some point when you need to reach out, you will.
And if we're the first ones you reach out to, cool.
Yeah.
You know, awesome.
We have been there too.
But if you need help, there is help. Luckily, YouTube did it all for us. Like, if you look up our channel, there is the national helpline or whatever. So yeah, check that out. If you want to be anonymous, don't want to talk to us, fine. But
talk to somebody if you're struggling.
Yeah, all 44 of you. No, we've had like 70 people watch some of our videos.
Yeah.
Anyway, we love you. And
love you guys. Thank you for tuning in this week. Subscribe. I can't really do it with my.
Oh yeah, you broke. I'm doing it for Chelsea. Yeah.
I get my cast off on Monday.
Peace.
Don't do. That's the end. I look so mad right when you finish the fucking.